Hi, our unintended receivers, listeners of the podcast. Welcome to our very first episode. And this podcast is by 91 Ultimate. My name is Richa Patel, and we have Jaidip Patel. We're both excited for our first guest, Mrinalini Siddhartha, who is the Ops Manager for Ultimate Players Association of India, the governing body of this sports in India. I know her off the field and know her quite well as part of the committee. So I'm going to refer to her as Minu for the podcast. Hi, Minu.
Hi, Richa. Hi, Jaidip.
Hi, Minu. I also discovered that Manix calls Minu Mrin. Do you have any other names, like Frisbee names?
No, just
Handler.
Minu. Oh, don't get me in trouble.
Okay, good. We've got the names right.
So, Minu, how excited or nervous are you?
I'll make strange noises like this, but I think
We're not going to edit it
out.
out. Don't worry.
Please edit it out. No, I'm usually not good at these kind of things, but I'm excited for this.
Okay, good. Yeah. Just stay excited and have fun with us on this.
Yeah.
So let's dive straight into the what we have planned for this interview with you. Just tell us a little bit about you and to our listeners, like who are you, how you got into Ultimate, and just your transition into now this major role of operations manager of UPAI.
I started playing Ultimate over 9 years ago, somewhere mid 2011 when I moved to Chennai to study. I was surprised.
It's been a long time.
Almost, yeah. Yes, it's been a long time, and it was just a bunch of us friends. We started throwing around on Elliot's Beach in Chennai. I had no idea at that time of the sport, or that there were teams in Chennai playing, let alone in other parts in India. And I remember one evening, a few weeks into us playing, Sangeeta Manoharan and Abhi Kao, both of them used to play on Chakra. They walked past us, spotted us throwing around, and suggested, you folks should put together a team and take part in Chennai Heat. And Chennai Heat was this, at that point, the only 7-on-7 beach ultimate tournament in India. As all of you know, beach ultimate's usually 5-on-5, but this was 7v7.
Yeah.
So it was a big deal, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't even know there was a tournament. So I think we started playing in April, and October was Chennai Heat. And yeah, so we just put together a team, learned some of the roles, gave ourselves a team name. And
which team was this?
I remember. This was, we were called Shurikens. And
Nice.
there were a bunch of us on the team that were fans of Naruto.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And that's how Shurikens came about.
Nice.
So we call Shurikens. Yeah.
Was that related to Ultimate in any way? Was it like the spinning of the shuriken?
Yes, the spinning. Okay. So it was combined. It was Naruto plus disc spinning. So yeah, we have like all of our jerseys have a shuriken on it.
I think you're one of the nicer, smarter names of Ultimate teams.
I played with sloppy discs today, and
yeah,
that's a fun name. Yeah. So that's how it started. We had to prove ourselves. I think we had to like have qualifier game against Blitz.
Oh wow!
Or Chakra, or a couple of qualifier games to play Chennai Heat, which had only 16 teams, and we had to prove our worth to take part in Chennai Heat 2011.
That's intense. Yeah,
Yes.
I have never played a qualifier game, so and knowing that this happened 9 years ago, it's quite intense.
Yes, that's what happened back then. But yeah, we got to play. We ended up silver pool finalists, which was very cool. It's actually just 9th place, but awesome. So we did that, and then ever since then we've just been playing tournaments. Our team, Shurikens, is just
where is Shurikens now? Does it still exist, or has it dissolved?
No, it's completely just disbanded. People all over. A bunch of remaining folks ended up joining Stall 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
But mostly disbanded. People traveled to the US or moved on.
Yeah, that happens a
Yeah,
lot to
yeah.
ultimate teams. Yeah. Only I think with legacy teams like Airbenders and Star 7, like those are the, I think there now only there's this whole culture of having this legacy of
Mhm,
teams and like
mhm.
really strong teams that stay on for years and years. But yeah, like I think
Yeah,
I know a lot of teams from back then who are not in existence now, but have morphed into other things on their own.
yeah, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how you got into the competitive aspect of the sport.
Yeah, we just so as Shurikens we kept playing tournaments. There was Bangalore Ultimate Open. We played Kodai. Um, in fact, Bangalore was a big was a very exciting tournament for us in 2013. I think we played BO, or maybe it was 2012. Forgive me, all those stats freaks out there who know the exact year and time that we played. But we played Flywild in Bangalore, and I think that was Flywild's first tournament as a team, possibly. And we beat them. They had all of the superstars of Rama and Jagat and Ganesh and Sumesh, and we beat them, and that was our highlight. We were just on cloud nine.
Well,
It was
they're superstars today, but like 9 years
but
ago, they were
even
probably
back,
just, oh, they
no,
were
they
still
were
awesome.
great. They were good even then,
Oh, yeah.
which is why we were very
Okay, fair
excited.
enough.
Wow. That must have
Yeah,
been quite a high to beat them.
for us, yes, it was a high in 2012 itself. And then I just moved and played Ultimate wherever I traveled. So I was in Bangalore for a year and a half. Kept moving around for work, and I played Ultimate wherever I went. And after Bangalore, I went to Seattle, and I played just seasonal league Ultimate there. And I got to play with a lot more women. It was just higher level Ultimate there compared to where India was at that point. And
Hmm.
here in India, at that point, we had maybe 2 or 3 women in my team. And then I went there, and there were just so many more women playing a lot more competitively. It was very inspiring, even though it wasn't like USA Club Ultimate. It was just seasonal league Ultimate, and even
Yeah.
that was super competitive.
Even Seattle is such a hub for Ultimate. It's the home of
Yes,
Five Ultimate, Seattle
exactly.
Riot, another team I'm forgetting the men's team now, but like it's
Cascades.
Cascades, yep, in the ADL. Yeah,
Yep.
so like it's I can imagine even like the league being off like such a great standard.
Yep. Yeah. So it
Eh,
was very exciting. Go ahead, Richa. You're asking me
no, I
something.
was saying that I mean you mentioned that you were part of, like, in India here people only two women used to be there. I know you
Yes.
were saying something about how you played at a tournament where you played for two different teams.
Yes. So actually, that was our Kodai Fly Baba. I believe that was also in 2012 because that was the last Kodai Fly Baba up until recently where they had another, right? 2018.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
2012, Shurikens went to Fly Baba, and by then there was a team from Coimbatore. I mean, I'm from Coimbatore, and so there's this team called Discreet that came to Kodai Fly Baba from Coimbatore, and of course they were also short in women. And I remember sometime during that tournament, I played on both teams. I represented Shurikens and then I
Days
represented
before rostering
Discreet.
rules.
Yeah, there was no issue. 6-1, one woman from wherever you can find, just pull her onto the field. As long as you have a female player on the field, you're good to go. There was a time I think Shurikens and Discreet played against each other where I had to choose and play on the team that I came with. But but if I'm wrong, guys, again, all you stats people, I'm calling it out.
And
This
this
is
was
just part
quite
of my
common.
reputation. Yeah,
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 it's like
yeah.
Sumedha is another one who's recently reminded me that she played like 11 games in one weekend or something because she
Yep.
played for two teams, something at an AUO or
That's
something.
massive.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Indian women have put savage to a new term, like
absolutely. Yeah.
playing.
Yes.
We
I
need a
think
new
that is
name.
the reason I don't get tired of playing ultimate. Like, I don't get tired on the field. I know I play a lot more points than the men do, but
Yep.
I'm never asking for a point off unless the coach says, take a point. Like I feel like I keep playing. It's now in me from 2011 that we'll just keep playing, keep running, just keep going after the disc or not.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just in me now. But yeah, so from this, then Seattle's many women playing ultimate, and then 2015 India sent um, that under 23 team to London.
Yeah.
And as I was returning, as I was going to come back end of 2015, there were tryouts for Worlds WGC 2016. And I got super pumped. There was a women's team going and there was a mixed team. Actually, there was a team in every division at that point. And I ended up playing on the mixed team. And that was an experience. Such an experience going out and playing Worlds. Yeah, just being in London, watching other national teams from other countries was insane. Yeah, so that's, I think all of that built up to me playing more and more competitively. In fact, I was in Valpare working on habitat restoration during that 2016 to 2018 period. And the reason I moved to Chennai was because I missed Ultimate too much. I wasn't getting it enough in Valpare, which is this hill station in Tamil Nadu, where I loved being there because I was in like nature and the forest and it was beautiful, but I didn't get enough Ultimate. I would only travel for tournaments. So I was like, you know what, I'm packing my bags and I'm moving to Chennai, where I was at that point playing with Stall 7. So I'm like, I'm going to go play more Ultimate.
Wow.
So I made the shift. I made the shift to Chennai.
You came from the forest to the city.
Yeah, that was a big shock for me.
Search of a disc.
Literally. But then, I went from city to forest. That was one shock to me, from Seattle to Valpare and then Valpare to Chennai. It was an exciting journey. So yeah, I was working on more environmental conservation while I was playing more competitive ultimate, and so my soul was happy. And then I was in between jobs when this ops manager opportunity popped up. They were hiring 2 full-time employees, and I was like, you know what? I love this sport. I love playing it. I just love the people I'm with. It's just a great community, and I'd love to be doing more. So I just applied. It was literally, that's it. I told my parents I'm applying for this job. I didn't really take into consideration what they would say, but they were very supportive as usual. So I applied and I got the position, and now it's been 2 years and I can't believe it.
So, Minu, I had a question for you about working in the UPI office. Do you have like story to share with us? Something fun or embarrassing, perhaps?
Oh no. Okay, I have a story.
You feel very, it sounds very reluctant to share that.
But, well, okay, so I'll start off by saying Sumesh, my colleague Sumesh, who's also ops manager.
Manik and I are quite somber people. We don't like fool around. We just get to work, and then go home, or play ultimate, go home. That's us. So for me, this is a highlight. Okay. So yeah, for a short period in 2019, we had a part-time ops manager who came on board actually when I was part of the AOBUC campaign as an assistant coach, and I had to like travel and I had to be busy with that. She stepped in, she came in. Her name was Sudarshana, and she so yeah, she handled a lot of the AOUGC team, the grass team that went to Shanghai. She helped manage that team a little bit from the ops side, and helped manage some partnerships during that period. So yeah, we had an apparel partner at that point, who the POC over there, Sudu would talk to, and she would like work with that person to get basically she got the grass team their jerseys and shorts and whatnot, their kit.
Nice.
And so in the early days of that partnership, we used to just make fun of her, because that POC would only like answer her calls or her emails. It was completely a joke. I mean, they talked to all of us, but we just kept pulling her leg about it. And so one afternoon, I was just at the UPAI office, and a courier came in, and it said it was from the apparel partner. And of course, I was curious because it was to us. So I opened it very carefully and I saw they were sample apparel for, like, they were material check. It was a material check parcel. And then we're like, let's pull Sudu's leg. Let's slip in a note and like seal it up. So we
This
did.
is a very elaborate
I wrote a note.
prank as well.
Yeah.
I like it.
My pranks are either elaborate or non-existent. There's no
Yeah, I was gonna
there's no
say.
middle ground to my pranks. So we wrote this note. Very inappropriate. Don't keep this in mind about UPAI. So me wrote the note, put it in, and I sealed it perfectly, like it had just arrived, and
Nice.
left it on the table. It was addressed to her, of course, so I shouldn't have opened it to start with, but I did. So then Sudarshana came to the office, and then I'm like, hey, there's a parcel. You want to check it out? Whatever. So she opened it, and she saw this. She took out the shots, and then this note fell out, and she saw the note, and was like, she didn't tell us what it was in the beginning because we all knew. She started getting a little flustered, and then we're like, what happened? Why do you look so bothered? And then she showed us the note, and it's basically I don't want to reveal the content. Okay, anyway, so it was from the apparel partner POC, addressed to her, and it said, Sudu, you're the best. Will you marry me? Or something like that. It was very inappropriate.
Straight to the cut. Yeah.
Straight. You're awesome. Marry me.
You're awesome, married.
And
That's how I should
very,
have proposed.
This is
It
like
was
your
so
prank, no middle ground.
no ground. No, go get coffee with me. It was straight up marry me. Of course, just to clarify that our POC has a partner, is actually married. Like, does not know about this prank. So
Even
when you
more
listen to this,
inappropriate.
forgive me. So yeah. So Sudu was super flustered. So she totally fell for it for a good chunk of time until we told her it was me, and then of course she saved that note. It
That's
was
awesome.
super fun and entertaining for our.
Did she ever try to
standards.
get you back? Did she ever pull a reverse prank?
You might have to ask. Fall for it.
Not revealed. Minu's too
can get her on
PC
here.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Nice.
No reverse pranks.
Nice story.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. I think for the somber people that you all are, this is quite an intense prank. Yeah.
Like we said, no middle ground. That's how you work.
So, what is the most frequently asked question that you get as an ops manager for India Ultimate?
Ooh. Okay, so the most exciting question is, how do I get your job? Everyone's like buying for my spot, but just letting everyone know that I'm staying. But they're
Public
not.
So your job is not up for grabs.
No. You can join me when we can get more people on.
And then get these kind of notes lying around.
Yeah, absolutely. But the not so exciting, very normal answer would be that a lot of people reach out for discs, which is a good thing. We wish we could provide a lot more discs. That's one. And another thing during the pandemic that I've heard a lot has been, what are you doing? Like, there are no tournaments, there are no competitions. How are you so busy all the time? What are you spending time on? Like, what do you do during the lockdown? Like, what do you mean work from home? There's no sport. So that's been a very, very frequent question for me the past month.
Not only do you have like an existential crisis around you, but like everybody even prodding you, like, okay, what are you doing for a living?
Yeah. Yes.
And but also, how does one get a disc? Like, where does one get a disc?
So we have a few options. UPAI has a partnership with Arya Discs, and through them we get some really good quality discs. And of course, within India we have 91 Ultimate. You guys are there, so
We are.
lots of discs. If you want some, either reach out to me or reach out to Jaidip.
Yeah, and It's thanks for plugging us. So I didn't have to. But right now, what's really interesting is people asking about the difference between ARIA discs and Discraft
Yeah, yeah,
Ultrastar and XCOM, and I get that question a lot as well. And I actually have a
yeah.
template response just saved in my email box that I can just
Oh, nice.
hit send. And what I love about ARIA, what I love about ARIA is that it comes out of 5 Ultimate, and 5 Ultimate is a company that inspired 91 Ultimate, but also that disc in particular was designed in a way that it's weather omnipotent, or whatever the correct word, agnostic perhaps. Like it in the sun, it's not supposed to go like kind of soft and bendy, and in the winter, it's not supposed to be super hard. And this is worth knowing, and it is of course a disc for NCS.
I know that when Mac from Storm, he's we there were Arya sponsored the national championship, right? And I
Right.
remember that people were almost like, oh, why are we using Arya disc? Why aren't we using Discraft? Because people in India are so used to Discraft, and like Arya was so new. Um, and Mac was like, I'm not going to use Arya, like Discraft is so much my thing. And yeah, but I think yeah, it's good to know, Jaidip, that you pointed out that Arya disc actually has this weather agnostic technology.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, some interesting FAQs.
Thanks, Jaidip.
You already said that people ask you what are you doing during the pandemic, but like about operations manager, like what are the ups and downs, and what are your like the highs and the low moments of working at UPI, apart from Manik's grandfather jokes?
That's I haven't figured out whether it's a high or a low for that one, but but I do have a different, more interesting answer at least. For the highs, so I just love the sport. I love Ultimate. The fact that it's a mixed gender sport, the fact that I'm as old as I am right now and still playing it. I mean, I have a lot of peers, of course, who are playing it at this age, but um, the community, and just being, so the high is of course being in the middle of it all, being in the middle of the growth and development of Ultimate in India, and uh, especially now during the pandemic, there's just been a lot more focus on grassroots development. So things that the coaching committee is working on, different levels of certification, schools committees making partnerships across the country, trying to introduce Ultimate in schools for when things open up. All of these, every single activity or moment is exciting, and that's super fulfilling for me. I'm easy to please, basically. Basically, that's the
All the boys outside listening to this podcast, please note,
Yes.
Minu is easy to please.
with respect to Ultimate. I will just clarify, but yeah. So that's what it is. Every small thing, and the low amongst all of this extreme fulfillment is that there's just a lot to be done. All of that excitement, all of the potential in growth, but like the lack of resources to get it done, right?
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
now, again, back to the fact that it is the middle of the pandemic. So like everyone else, we're also um, going through a rough patch and trying to stay afloat. So not enough resources, human resources, monetary resources, just to get all these exciting things done. And that's sometimes a low, but I guess we're working really hard to get there.
And right now, in terms of human resources, you're already on like a really huge roster of volunteers, right?
That's true. Yes, we're only two full-time employees, but we have a volunteer force of 75 members.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that's huge. All this came together in the during the pandemic, where we restaffed all of our committees. As you all might know, the executive board, the advisory board, they're all volunteer members. So
Correct.
everyone putting in a lot of personal time towards the growth of Indian Ultimate is just awesome to see. All the committees flourishing.
And this is an over and above what other people are doing, like in their individual and state federation capacities. This is
Correct.
only
Yes,
UPAI.
yes. This is just UPAI with 70 plus volunteer members.
That's amazing.
working,
And then there is still so much more to do.
Yes, it's still not enough. But that's what comes along with being a national governing body for the sport, especially it being in its nascent stages.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, totally agree.
All right, it's time for the quick fire round. It's awesome. It's really good. It starts off easy, and then it gets like, But you've got to. So in this, Minu, just answer like off the top of your head and instinctively with your heart, as you said, being at the heart.
And all are mandatory. You have to answer for every question.
Yeah. Okay. Ready?
No.
Oh, okay, great. That's perfect. Okay, first one. How many tournaments have you played in?
Oh my God, I don't know.
Just guess.
Too many.
Too many is not an answer.
I would
20,
say
30?
40, 50. I don't know, 40
Wow.
tournaments.
Wow,
Nice.
that's a lot. And out of that, how many tournaments did you play like on two teams?
just the Kode Fly Baba. Just that one, I think.
Okay.
Next question is forehand or backhand?
Oh, forehand.
Forehand. Interesting. Yeah. Next one is Mannix or Megna?
This is
This is difficult.
Just say it quickly.
Mannix.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Next question is.
He's gonna get you a donut now tomorrow with a coffee.
Yeah.
Let's hope he listens. Yeah. Cite a rule of ultimate.
Oh shucks.
Whatever you can remember.
Stall 10.
That's what you got.
Operations manager for the entire nation of India says.
Stall down.
Yeah.
I've stalled myself out.
All right. We accept that answer. Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Next question is, who's your most admired ultimate player?
Sneha Patel.
Yeah. Don't say Patel also. Like I say this to her.
Patel.
Yeah, like
Sneha Patel.
it's a point of contention between us. I mostly pull on leg about it.
Sneha Patel.
Okay. One thing you would change about India Ultimate in an instant.
Oh my God.
Does that mean that you have a lot of things to change, or that you don't want to change anything?
Like right now, you'd change it overnight. Click your fingers. What would change?
We'd have government recognition.
No.
Minu, what's the worst team jersey? The worst Indian team jersey.
No, don't
Design.
make me say it. No, they won't forgive me. I actually have one that I dislike.
Just say it.
I am not a fan of the Tix jailbird jersey.
Oh
yeah, right. The
They're gonna
referee
hate
one, right?
me for it.
They just look like referees. Right, yeah, that's a good one.
I think it bothers me when I'm playing. I'm so sorry. I love you folks a lot.
I'm
but
gonna see
that
them next
jersey,
it doesn't make up for it, Minu. I think they should gift you one jersey with Minu on it.
It makes me feel like a jailbird. I don't know. I think that's what it is. Not even the referee part. Okay, I'm not gonna answer. No, go ahead.
All right, we're done. The good news is that's the end of the quickfire round. Well done.
Well done. Yeah, you get a hamper of nothing.
Donut and coffee.
Donut and coffee from Alex. You named him the favorite over Meghna. He better get you a lot of donut and coffee. Minu, in one sentence, where do you see the future of India Ultimate?
2028 Olympics in LA. We'll have a Team India go there. And I think we're working towards that. Although this is not a sentence, but although I know we've shifted our focus from national teams currently to grow Ultimate in our domestic level.
Yeah.
Have it in more schools, in more colleges, just have more players or people playing Ultimate in India.
Yeah.
But I think all of that is towards the larger goal of getting government recognition and maybe sending a team to LA Olympics in 2028.
Nice.
Woohoo!
Woo.
Hopefully we get there.
Yeah, that's great. That's like awesome. Okay, last question is, what's your opinion, your personal opinion, about the no spiking rule that was instituted by the UPI, and along with that, it was a fine as well.
You've picked a nice tough one. Okay. All of that I'm going to say possibly controversial, but yes, this is a personal opinion. So AP, Arun Pandyan, who is my teammate on Stall 7, is my teammate on Airborne right now. We've known each other a really long time. So we have quite a few lengthy conversations in general, and this was one of those. We had a long chat about this a couple of years ago when this no spiking rule and the fine came up. And I just wanted to clarify that as I understand it, or as he and I understand it, spiking isn't inherently bad, right? So spiking is just a celebratory move. But the intent behind and the emotions associated with the spike or the celebration and the repercussions of that act of spiking is what matters, are what matter. So basically, there are good spikes and bad spikes, and I'm sorry, I'm classifying them. We're going back to that, but there are good spikes and bad spikes. And so the WIFTF rulebook says any action that disrespects your opponent or causes damage to the equipment is not allowed. And that basically means a bad spike is not allowed. But putting down a no spiking rule, blanketed, it's basically super black and white, right? Having no spiking down there. And I think that is not super progressive. It is a lot of gray area. I think it's a band-aid solution, saying no spiking and throwing on a fine.
Sure.
But the larger requirement is to educate, have conversations with our community, with our club teams, our players, talk about this, share why it's not good to make a bad spike, right? You don't want to disrespect your opponents. You don't want to damage discs, which are really hard to come by, especially in a country like India. It's not so easy to come by good quality discs. And then so when you go around whacking them into the ground and breaking them, you come asking me for discs. I can't solve that problem. Just don't damage them to start with. So I think the bandit solution was implemented, and it was necessary at that point when, yes, I'm going to do this. There was a sudden spike in spikes. Yes. So that happened, and it just was not we didn't know how to fix it, and a temporary solution was to put in that rule. But the SOTG committee right now is doing a lot, right? They have a national team player spirit module in place that every national team player has to do once they're selected onto the campaign. There's an introductory spirit module for new club teams coming in and playing in the NCS. There are virtual, right now during the pandemic, virtual SOTG workshops that are being conducted in different languages. And all of these are steps being taken to educate and build empathy or understanding in our community towards this. So
I love that. I love actually your response to it and talking about the kind of deeper meaning of it in it. The fact that it was kind of a band-aid solution and it's very short term, and the behavior change you're looking for, we want it overnight, so we're going to put this fine on. And I love this also mostly because Meghna was caught out with this once in a game that I was there on the beaches of Chennai. I think national teams were facing off against the Masters team against the mixed team, something like this. She had to pay the spikes, it had to pay. So I mean, everybody, it doesn't matter your designation, how many years you've been playing, the fine was blanket for everybody. But the conversations that were happening because of this, what does it mean to spike? What does it mean to be offensive to somebody? What kind of celebrations make sense? Or I don't think it was an easy rule for me to follow because I don't think I'd spiked a lot, but I definitely celebrated in ways that afterwards I thought, would I have liked it if somebody had celebrated that way with me? And so like I like the idea that now it's becoming something about the SOTG committee saying, okay, how can we evolve this? And okay, we don't need to fine. Let's get people to just think about being good people, having integrity, being, how we envisage kind of ultimate being for us as a community. It's kind of
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. Like having this conversation about what celebration means and how to be respectful of others, which is what SOTG is all about. I think having the deeper conversation around that with the community would be the solution rather than having like a fine and a blanket system. Makes sense. Minu, you are wise.
The many conversations that I've had about this, I think, have led to me becoming wiser.
Any last wise words for the Indian Ultimate community?
Well, I am just looking forward to seeing everybody back on the field when this thing blows over. But until then, stay safe, stay healthy. Go check out the phased return to guidelines on indiaultimate.org and just play safe Ultimate or don't play until we can play. Toodles.
Thank you, Minu. You've been an awesome first guest. I think it's a good start that we're having to the podcast. Jaidip, what do you
absolutely.
think?
Thanks so much for having me.
I was so happy that you accepted.
Super fun.
Yeah. No,
it was very fun.
We had this idea that I think there are people who have got the limelight previously in previous years. Myself as well. I've been like whatever. So like people have heard Manik's talk, and he has a beautiful voice. I loved listening to Manik's. And Meghna and various, whether it's breakside events or news articles. And so I really wanted to get you on the podcast as the first guest.
Thank you.
It's been amazing.
So much.
It's been really good. Thank you.
Thank you, Minu. And with that, thank you everyone for listening.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.